and welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professor J. Rod. In this episode, we'll talk about the printer, the machines that never sleep. Let's tap in. Welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professor J. Rod. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a college professor that likes to help students pass the CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, and a history buff, so I like to throw in history of computing in different parts, different companies that shape the way computers are done now in the 21st century. If you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram at Professor J. Rod. I'm at TikTok at Professor J. Rod. I'm on Twitter at Professor J. Rod. And if you want to email me, you can email me at professorjrod@gmail.com. And everybody who knows me knows that I love coffee. So if you want to buy me a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Professor J. Rod. All right, let's start. There are very few machines in modern life that everyone depends on, but almost no one truly understands. They sit quietly in offices, in classrooms, in hospitals, in police stations, in shopping centers, in homes. And yet, when they stop working, entire organizations grind to a halt. Today on Technology Tap, we'll tell you the hidden story of printers and multifunction devices, not just as machines, but as mission-critical infrastructures. From unboxing to configuration to firmware to laser imaging to troubleshooting jams at 4:58 p.m. for a 5 p.m. deadline, this chapter might be the most underestimated technology on Earth. Every technician remembers their first printing ticket. It just says offline. No error codes, no smoke, no lights flashing, just offline. And suddenly, payroll stops, students can't submit exams, medical records freezes, shipping labels halted, court documents delayed. Printers are the silent backbone of physical information, and CompTIA understands that. Before boxes even open, technicians act as technology architects. The 4 core decision factors when you take into consideration when you're buying a printer: 1, speed, pages per minute; 2, resolution, dots per inch or DPI; paper handling, trays, size, media types; and options: duplex, scanning, faxing, stapling, networking. Real world scenario: a school buys a HomeJet printer for 40 class student classroom. 2 weeks later, ink is empty, paper jams nonstop, overheating errors, and maintenance nightmare. The wrong tool for the right failure. Location. The slide before you power on, you got to make sure where you're going to put the printer matters the most, right? Where you're going to get the electrical supply, all right, the electricity, the network access, airflow, physical accessibility, heat and humidity, floor layout for those large multifunction devices, and is it ADA accessible? Cold printers move into warm rooms, cause concentrations inside electronics, one of the fastest ways to destroy the new device. Unboxing. Every printer ships with packaging tape, drum locks, transport braces, protective foam, seal toner. If any of that remains inside the boxes, it will damage it, so you got to remove it. If a brand new printer grounds loudly on the first setup, packaging material that was stuck inside was not removed. Firmware, the software that controls the machine. Even new printer may require firmware updates. Why? Because how long has it been sitting in the shelf? Right? It could be a year, right? Just because you bought it today doesn't mean that it's new today, right? How long has it been sitting in Best Buy? Firmware controls paper feed, timing, toner voltage level, network processing, print queue logic, scanner calibrations, and duplex operation. Critical technician rules. Backup printer configuration before firmware updates. never interrupt firmware flashing, and reset, reflash corrupt firmware. Interrupted firmware, right? If you decide to shut it off while it's updating, you may end up with a bricked printer. Printer connectivity, one of the most heavily tested topics. 1. USB direct connection, one-to-one connection, no network access, used for local PCs. Exam tips: USB printers cannot be accessed remotely unless shared by a computer. 2. Ethernet network printer has its own IP address, appears on the network like a server, used in office and labs. Exam tip: if many users can access the same printer, it's either Ethernet or Wi-Fi. 3. Wireless, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, connected through infrastructure through the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth pairing. Used for mobile printing, bring your own devices, or guest printing. Troubleshooting normally is the wrong SSID, the wrong Wi-Fi password, or 2.4 versus 5 gigahertz mismatch. Next, we talk about printer drivers and page description language, or PDLs. Every printer speaks a language. The big three are the PCL, printer control language, fast, universal; PostScript, high-end graphics, design, and publishing; and XPS is Microsoft XML-based format. What does PDLs control? Font rendering, scalable type, vector graphics, and color processing. Color printing runs on CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow. K is black, but they call it key black, not RGB, right? Exam trap: if a printer output is distorted or unreadable, then it's the wrong PDL is selected. Next, we move printer properties. The system level is print queue, paper tray, installed memory, fonts, and ports. For printing preferences, you have DPI quality, either economy or draft mode. You can have duplex, that's printing on both sides, multi-page per sheet, orientation, landscape or portrait, and paper size and type. Exam clue: if one user prints wrong but the others are fine, it's a preference, not a driver issue. Printer sharing: who can use the machine? 3 sharing models: public printer, no access control, anybody can print. Print server, centralized control, driver distribution, and access permission. And direct share printer, one PC shares to others. If host goes online, then the printer disappears. Printer security, the forgotten cyber risk. Modern printers contain hard drives, RAM, network cards, address books, user credentials, stored documents. You should have these security controls in place: pin release print jobs, badge authentication, job audit logs, secure erase functions. Unsecure printers equals data breach engine. So what happens here is on these network printers, they have admin username and password. Most of the time, people don't even change that. They leave it either admin or admin password. That is one way for the bad guys to get in, is through the printer. That's number 1. 2, they have hard drives. So if they steal the hard drive, right, they can have access to the data, because sometimes you're able to print like at the last 5 things that was on the printer. So make sure that you're not printing personal stuff on it. That's another way that it can get you. And then you got to be careful, because even the maintenance guy, the guy who comes in to fix your printer, they have their special code. It's the same as admin. So you got to be careful with that. All right, next, scanner configuration and OCR. Scanners could be flatbed scanners, moving scan head, or ADF, automated document feeder. Fixed head, this is for high volume scanning. OCRs, optical character recognition, converts scan images into editable text. Network scanning targets email, SMB, that's server message block, file shares, and cloud storage. Next, we'll talk about, now we move inside the machine. This is where technicians either become confident or completely confused, because printers don't just print. They perform controlled physics experiments thousands of times a day, using heat, static electricity, pressure, light, pigment, and motion. the laser printing process. This is the most tested topic on CompTIA. Well, as far as printers are concerned, right? If there's one process you must memorize in the A+ exam, it is the 7-step laser printing process. 1. Processing. 2. Charging. 3. Exposing. 4. Developing. 5. Transferring. 6. Fusing. 7. Cleaning. Every question you see about the laser printer maps to one of these steps. Let's walk through it. Processing. The printer thinks. Your computer sends text, images, graphics, layouts. The printer interprets the driver, converts the page into a bitmap image, stores it into memory. If processing fails, nothing prints, corrupt output appears, or the printer fuses. A+ exam clue. If a job fails before it physically begins, it's a processing or driver problem. 2. Charging. The drum gets its static code. The imaging drum is coated with photosensitive material. A primary corona wire or charge roller gives the drum a uniform negative static charge. This prepares the drum to accept an image. Common failure: dirty charge roller, streaking, repeating deficits. 3. Exposing. The laser draws the image. A laser fires onto a drum, discharging specific areas. Those charges areas now represents text, shapes, and graphics. The printer has now created an invisible electrostatic image. Exam tip: if the output is blank, think laser or exposure failure. 4. Developing. Toner meets the drum. The toner cartridge carries negative charge toner particles. Since opposites attract, the toner sticks to the discharged areas, not the charged background. This reveals the image in powdered form. Failure symptoms: faint prints, uneven shading, gray background, and blotchiness. 5. Transferring. Paper steals the image. The paper receives a positive charge. This charge pulls the toner off the drum onto the paper. Now the image exists on paper, but is still just powdered. Failure symptoms: missing sections, ghosting, and incomplete images. Next is fusing. Heat and pressure make it permanent. The fuser assembly heats up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, presses toner onto the paper, melts toner permanently into fibers. Failure symptoms: smudging, toner rubbing off, wrinkled paper, melted output, burning smell. If the toner wipes off easy, it's a fuser failure. Cleaning resets the next page. The printer scraps leftover toner, sends waste toner to the waste hopper, neutralizes statics, and recharges the drum, repeating the deficit at the same interval on every page. That means the drum needs replacement. Now we move to inkjet printers, precision liquid and engineering. Inkjet printers work completely different. Instead of static electricity, they use liquid ink sprayed by microscopic nozzles onto pages in dots. 2 types dominate. Thermal inkjet uses tiny heating elements to boil ink and force droplets on paper, used by HP and Canon. Failure symptoms: missing lines, clogged nozzles, air bubbles, and weak colors. The other use is piezoelectric inkjet. Uses electric pulses to flex crystal elements, pushing ink without heat. Used by Epson. Advantage: better ink control, longer print head, and less clogging. Inkjet ink types you must know: dye-based ink with vibrate but smear, and pigment-based ink which are durable and resistant. Next we move to thermal printers. Heat creates the page. Thermal printers appear in cash registers, shipping labels, hospital wristbands, ATMs. They use heat-sensitive paper, no ink or toner. 2 thermal types. They have direct thermal, paper darkens with heat, fades over time, sensitive to sunlight, and thermal transfer, uses ribbon, long-lasting print, used in barcodes. If the output fades in the sunlight, that is direct thermal. That's an exam tip. Next, Impact printers, mechanical striking. Impact printers are old school but still alive. Used for multi-part forms, carbon copies, shipping, industrial environments. They use print heads, pins, ink ribbon. Advantages: durable, inexpensive, works on multi-part paper. Disadvantage: slow, loud, low resolution. Now, it used to be inexpensive. If you try to get impact printer nowadays, it's going to cost you $300 to $400. Next, maintenance kits, the parts that wear out. High volume laser printers require scheduled maintenance kits. Fuser, rollers, separation pads, pickup rollers, waste toner containers. Manufacturers specify replacement intervals and page count. Exam fact: if a laser printer prints but won't feed paper reliably, it's the pickup roller. Common print failures and the hidden cause. 1. Vertical lines on printout cause a dirty imaging drum, scratched drum, or a damaged roller. Fix, replace the drum unit. 2nd, blank pages. Following could be the causes: toner empty, sealed cartridge, failed laser, or corrupt driver. 3. Repeating spots cause drum circumference defect or the fuser roller defect. The spacing tells you which part is failing. Paper jam causes worn rollers, humidity, incorrect paper weight, or the grease in the feed path. Printer continues to say offline causes wrong port, change IP address, DNS issues, printer spooler stopped, or USB cable failure. Color collaboration and quality control. Color printers require calibration, test pages, alignment, drum conditioning. CMYK imbalance causes incorrect color, washed image, color shift. Exam clue: if red prints as brown, the magenta toner has a problem. Now that you know what happens inside the machines, you understand why toner sticks, why heat matters, why rollers fail, why colors shift, and why printers jam. Now we face the battlefield, because in the real world, printers rarely fail in clean, predictable ways. They fail on networks, they fail under load, they fail when users panic, they fail when attackers find them first. Now we're going to talk about people who know printers from technicians who control environments. Let's finish this the right way. Network printing, where printers' nightmares begin. Once the printer leaves USB and joins the network, everything changes. A network printer now requires an IP address, a subnet, a gateway, DNS, ports, drivers across multiple machines, authentication, firewall allowance, print queues, spooling services. And every one of these components can break. Static versus dynamic IP address. Many printers use DHCP by default. Here's the problem: the printer gets one IP today, a different IP tomorrow, but users still try to print to the old IP. Result: the printer shows up but won't print. Best practice: set network printers to static IPs or DHCP reservation. Yeah, I have that issue with my printer. I used to have it when I had it with DHCP. It would, the DHCP router would give the IP address, but then you shut it off for a couple of days. You turn it on, it's a different IP address, and then you can't print. All right, next, print servers, central control at a cost. Large organizations use print servers for centralized driver management, access control, spool balancing, accounting, and auditing. When a print server fails, no one can print, even if the printers themselves are fine. Queues back up, documents vanish, office freezes. Exam tip: if multiple printers go down at once, suspect the print server, not the printers. Next, the print server spooler, the hidden single point of failure. The Windows print spooler service controls job buffering, queue processing, driver interaction, and network handoff. If the spooler crashes, deadlocks, or corrupts, you'll get stuck jobs, ghost print, vanished documents, and printers stuck in printing forever. Basic fix: stop the print spooler, clear the spool folder, and restart the service. 9 out of 10 printer mysteries end here. Next, mobile printing and cloud printing. Modern printers are no longer isolated machines. They integrate with smartphones, tablets, cloud storage, email gateways, and remote printing service. Mobile printing technologies. You have Apple AirPrint, Android MoPria, manufacturers App, HP Smart, Epson Connect, and Canon Print. These depend on local Wi-Fi discovery, multicast traffic, correct ports, and updated firmware. If mobile printing fails, check same network, disable client isolation, update printer firmware, and re-enable discovery services. Next, cloud printing. Documents can be sent from anywhere, stored in the cloud, released locally. Risks include exposed print queues, unsecure release jobs, data interruption, and unauthorized access. Exam focus. If sensitive documents print without authentication, secure print with a secure print / pin release is missing. The thing is about cloud printing, and I'm saying it with air quotes, is that eventually it's going to have to go to a real printer to print because there's no such thing as cloud printing, right? It's just you uploading it to the cloud, and then somebody at the other end is going to actually go to a physical printer and print it out. Printer security, the attack surface nobody watches. Modern printers are full computers with CPUs, RAM, operating systems, hard drives, network card, web servers. Hackers target printers because they are rarely patched. Administrators forget them. Default credentials remain, and that is absolutely true. Logs are ignored, and firmware isn't monitored. Common printer attacks: unauthorized job injection, stored document theft, address book harvesting, network pivoting, malware hosting, DDoS participation. Printer breach are silent breaches. Enterprise printer security controls: pin-based job release, badge authentication, encrypt print streams, role-based access, secure erase, firmware signing, and network segmentation. CompTIA exam logic: if confidential prints appear in trays, secure print is not enforced. Environmental failure and printer sabotage without anyone realizing it. Printers fail silent or fall silent due to humidity, dust, temperature swings, static electricity, cheap paper, warped paper, low grain toner. The hidden killers: humidity curves paper, feeds into jams. Cheap toner melts wrong, destroys diffuser. Dust coats rollers, slippage. In cold rooms, condensation inside optics. Technicians don't just repair printers, they repair environments. Next, where everything fails at once, disaster scenarios. Scenario number 1, no one in the timekeeping office can print paychecks. Multi-printers offline, same subnet, same VLAN. Root cause: print server failure or network outage. Scenario 2, print jobs vanish after sending. No error message, users think nothing printed, queues cleared instantly. Root cause: incorrect port or IP reassigned. Scenario 3, sensitive HR documents found in the wrong tray. Root cause: lack of secure print authentication. Scenario 4, printer warms up, feeds paper, but pages are blank. Root cause options: sealed toner not removed, empty toner, failed laser. The technician's ethical responsibility. Printers process medical records, court documents, financial statements, government forms, student data, research, identities. Every technician who touches a printer touches people's lives. Your responsibility include protecting confidentiality, clearing memory securely, removing drives before disposal, documenting access, not copying stored data, enforcing authentication, reporting vulnerabilities. Being a technician means being trusted. That trust is everything. And that's one of the biggest things that I tell my students. If they can't trust you, they don't need you, right? If they think you that person, they don't need you. They need to have complete confidence in you that you're going to do your job and do your job ethically. If they find out that you can't, you're out. Quick example. You work in IT, you're in charge of all the user's creation. The head of marketing quits, right? So now the assistant head of marketing, right? The assistant marketing VP wants his job, right? Wants that job. Interviews for it, right? Other people interview for it. You're in the cafeteria. You know he didn't get the job because that morning they sent out a request for you to create a new head of marketing, and it's not that person. If you're in the cafeteria with that person and a bunch of other people, and they ask that person, "Hey, did you hear back? Are you going to get the job?" You know he didn't get the job, but you can't say anything. You have to be responsible. All right. Questions. Question 1. So how do we do the questions? I read the questions. I give you the choices. Then I read it a second time. Right? And then I'll give you 5 seconds and let's see if you can get it. All right. Question 1. A laser printer produces output where the toner smears easily when touched. Which component is most likely failing? A. Drum. B. Transfer roller. C. Fuser. D. Pickup roller. I'll read it again. A laser printer produces output where the toner smears easily when touched. Which component is most likely failing? A. Drum. B. Transfer roller. C. Fuser. Or D. Pickup roller. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is C. Fuser. The fuser applies heat and pressure to permanently bond toner to the paper. If the toner smears, it will never properly melt into the page. That means you got to change it. All right, question 2. Several users report all printers on the same floor stop printing at the same time. Individual printers show no error. What is the most likely cause? A. Failed toner cartridge. B. Print server outage. C. Clogged pickup rollers. Or D. Incorrect paper size in tray. I'll read it again. Several users report that all printers on the same floor stop printing at the same time. Individual printers show no errors. What is the most likely cause? A. Failed toner cartridge. B. Print server outage. C. Clogged pickup rollers. Or D. Incorrect paper size in tray. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is B. Print server outage. If multiple printers fall simultaneously, the common control point, the print server, is most likely the root cause. All right, question 3. A confidential document prints immediately instead of waiting for the user to authenticate at the printer. Which security feature is missing? A. Network segmentation. B. Secure print/pin release. C. Antivirus. Or D. Static IP addressing. A confidential document prints immediately instead of waiting for the user to authenticate at the printer. What security feature is missing? A. Network segmentation. B. Secure print/pin release. C. Antivirus. Or D. Static IP addressing. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is B. Secure print pin release. Secure print requires users to authenticate at the device before documents are released into the output tray, and you usually have to have a pin. Sometimes they ask for a pin. Last question. Let's go 4 for 4. Hopefully you got 3 of them right. A user reports that a network printer worked yesterday but is unreachable today. The print screen shows a different IP address than what was installed on workstations. What most likely occurred? A. Printer spooler crash. B. Driver corruption. C. DHCP IP reassignment. Or D. Toner failure. I'll read it again. A user reports that a network printer worked yesterday but is unreachable today. The printer screen shows a different IP address than what was installed on workstations. What most likely occurred? A. Print spooler crash. D. Driver corruption. C. DHCP IP reassignment. Or D. Toner failure. Give you 5 seconds to think about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is C. DHCP IP reassignment. Dynamic IP printers may change IP address after reboots. Workstations still point to the old addresses, causing connection failures. Printers are not simple machines. They are electrical systems, optical systems, thermal systems, mechanical systems, network systems, and security systems all in one box. And every time a page prints flawlessly from chaos, it's because a technician understood every layer. This concludes our podcast on the printer for the CompTIA A+ exam. Professor J. Rod, and as always, stay grounded, stay precise, and keep tapping into technology. This has been a presentation of Little Cha-Cha Productions, art by Sarah, music by Joe Kim. We're now part of the Pod Match Network. You can follow me at TikTok at Professor J Rod, that's J-R-O-D, or you can email me at ProfessorJRod, J-R-O-D, @gmail.com.